Good morning, dolls, and welcome to Little Gretchen's Workshop. So today I have a very special project. It is actually an item I received in a gift bundle from Whitney Labrie. It's a little dress stand, and she challenged me to see if I could turn it into a treasure. So since I've accepted the challenge, let's go ahead and get started. So one of the main things that needs to happen is the base needs to be stabilized. It's pretty lightweight, so the base needs to be heavier to support the actual form. And it needs to be straightened out and kind of balanced a little bit. So we're going to work on all of that. But before I add weight to the base, I want to go ahead and build out the body or the dress form. So to me, the easiest way to do that, to build out some bulk to it, is to add some aluminum foil. I'm adding just a little bit of a tacky glue to the surface of the cloth so that the aluminum foil have something to stick to. Now, you don't need a lot of glue, and it doesn't need to be real heavy, just a little bit in a few key spots so that the aluminum foil will have something to bond to. Now, I started by stretching it over the head of the dress form and just pressing it around the body in a way that I want the body to look. Now, the body was pretty small and kind of narrow, so I'm making this dress form for one of the fuller, more deluxe body dolls. Now, the way you shape your dress form is totally up to you. This doll body is going to be fuller at the top, smaller waist, and fuller in the hips. So it'll be for a doll with a fuller, curvy figure. So I only used a couple layers of aluminum foil to kind of build out the body. And what I really love is it really takes on the shape of whatever you're using it for. And I'm really pressing it in and nipping it in the waist and leaving it fuller at the bottom or below the waist. Now, there are all types of doll bodies and just body shapes, so you create your dress form to suit your setting. Now, after I got it to a certain point, I started to focus or think about building out the bust line after I had the basics of the torso in shape. Now, to add fullness to the bust area, I used 2 small pieces of aluminum foil and kind of shaped them and just added a dab of glue to attach them. Now, I will shape it more after I wrap the body. Now, again, take as much or as little time with this part as you want. I'm making the bust pretty simple. I'm not making them extra full because I'm going to make the area below the waist fuller overall. Now that I've got a rough shape of the body of the dress form, I'm going to go ahead and add my paper mache. Now, there are a lot of different ways you can wrap a miniature dress form in order to give it a softer, more contoured surface, but I'm using some old wallpaper. It's kind of sort of like a remnant piece, but it's kind of an aged color, so it looks like old newspaper. So I cut it into really thin strips, and I'm kind of using a technique that we used to use as kids when we wanted to create a piñata. Now, this technique is slightly different because as children, we used water and flour. I'm not going to use any flour because I think that would be a little messy today. But what I'm doing is dampening the wallpaper strips of paper and then adding glue to them and wrapping the body just like I would if I was wrapping a balloon to create a piñata. So the strips have been cut and I'm slightly dampening the little paper. And I've got quite a bit of little tacky glue in that little tray. And you see I've wet the pieces and I have glue on my fingers. So now I'm going to use the dampened paper to shape and wrap the aluminum foil in the paper to add a softer, more gentle form. I'll be advised it took a lot more time for me to do this than what you'll see in this video. And heads up, the process is a little messy, so don't say I didn't warn you. Now, in this case, I had to work pretty quickly because after the fibers of the wallpaper got wet, they actually did begin to behave just like newspaper because the wet fibers began to tear. But it actually worked in my favor because the softer and more pliable the fibers of the newspaper became, the easier it was to wrap around the body and make it stick. And as it began to stick, it made it easier to smooth and contour. Now here in this frame, I'm just kind of adding a little bit of glue to the surface to dampen it. So as I smooth on the paper, it won't stick to my fingers. Now in this next frame, I'm using some additional pieces of paper that are kind of, don't have a lot of print on them. I'm using them to build out her hips and to add more fullness to the lower part of her body. Now I would recommend that this is one of those projects you want to stay active with. I wouldn't come and go working on it. Don't stop working until you complete this particular part. And I also realized I liked applying the glue with the brush and then adding the paper rather than using my fingers. It was a lot neater. So if you prefer not to use gloves or not have sticky fingers, the brush works really well. And you don't need to be worried about ruining your brushes because the tacky glue is water soluble. Now you can really see in this next frame how much the paper has been saturated with the glue and the water, and it's blending really almost as if it were clay. And it's really amusing to think about that at this stage it's really soft and pliable. I'm pressing it and blending it, but once I allow it to dry, it'll be hard and it'll maintain its shape really nicely. And make sure you do any shaping you need to do while it's soft and pliable, because you would have to destroy it to either make it smaller, or if you tried to add more layers, you could make it way too big and out of scale. And now I'm going to give it a little time to set before I start to build out the base. Now, dolls, when I say building out the base, it's very simple. Now, I just happen to be using a two-part epoxy, which is the Milliput, but you definitely could use air dry clay. Now, again, this is two-part epoxy. I would not advise using regular polymer clay because it needs to be oven baked. And I would not recommend putting your paper and wood doll dress form into an oven. Now, here you can see me smushing the epoxy into the bottom of the base. Now, it's kind of like just a little metal piece. It was hollow, so I felt that by filling in the piece with something heavy like the epoxy, it would give it a lot more weight and balance. And I'm just smushing it in, smoothing it out, dolls. You definitely want to make it as flat as possible. You don't want it to be rounded at the bottom because then the dress form will wobble a lot. And you see I have quite a bit of extra, so I actually mixed more than I needed. So I'm going to have to figure out some way to use that quickly before it hardens. But you see me just mashing it in the bottom as much as I can. Now here you see me, I'm going to stand it here on my craft table and kind of smash it to my mat to flatten it out. And you can see it's got a little wobble to it. And so I feel like it probably needs some feet or something to help balance it out. So I added a few little bead caps. I used approximately 5 and tried to space them out so it'd be even distribution of the weight of the body of the dress form. And I think it worked really well. Now I didn't add any glue. I just pressed the bead spacers or bead caps right into the epoxy while it was soft and allow it to dry and harden around the beads. Now from this angle you can kind of see the feet, how they're kind of sticking out a little bit from the bottom. You can see how they look from where I pressed them down. So I'm going to allow this to dry and harden before I go any further. Now, while I was waiting for the dress form to harden so I can finish working on that, I started thinking about shirts, because anytime I think of the dress shop or fabric, I think of making doll clothes. So I found a few really thin pieces of cardboard. It's actually mat board, and I cut them into small rectangular square shapes. So do what feels most comfortable to you, but I like the rectangular shape. Now, all of these I'm making for adults, but if you're making them for little children or babies, you'll need to make them a lot smaller. And make sure any embellishments you use are in scale with the doll body. And here I am adding a little tacky glue. Now, when I do this, I add the unglued part to the base of the fabric and then fold it over and allow my piece of fabric to stick into the glue that's on the side of the card that faces upward. I slightly add a little bit more glue to the inside. Now, keep in mind this works a little bit differently if you're using 100% cotton. I absolutely love this print, but it's some type of nylon or polyester, and it's pretty resistant to wrinkles and folds. So anytime you're using synthetic fabrics, you're going to need to weight it down or clamp it to make it stay in place until the glue catches. Now, if you're using natural fabrics like silk or cotton, you won't have to do this, but definitely with synthetics. And generally, a couple clothespins will work really well. Now, while I was allowing it to dry, I had a few other shirts that I had already started, but they were all created with cotton, so they were a lot easier to fold. Now, that first one was cotton, but this one with the brown and green print, it's synthetic, and I had to do the same thing. But I love the print so much I didn't care. So anytime you see me using synthetic fabrics, it just means that I love the print so much that I don't mind the extra work. So I ended up once again making lots of tiny shirts like I do so often with projects like this. Now, although I pre-made all of these, a couple of them I didn't put the collars on. So I'm going to show you how I added the collar to this one. I took a moment to kind of round out the top of the collar. Now, all of these shirts are women's shirts, so I kind of made sort of like a Peter Pan type collar. Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but this collar is pretty firm. I actually made it a little bit earlier, and the glue has dried, so the little strip is really, really firm, which makes it really, really easy to maneuver and manipulate into the shape that I want because it's not all flimsy like it would be if it was a single strip of fabric that wasn't double folded with the water and glue solution. Now, I'm not going to go really deep into how I made these shirts. I do have a couple of videos out there of when I made shirts and blouses like this, and I will put a link in the description, but I'm just showing you here how I embellished a couple. I had this really pretty piece of lace, and it was a nice small lace, but I needed it to be a little bit smaller, and you can generally always minimize any piece of lace by just cutting off a portion of it. Now here you can just see me adding a really thin bead of tacky glue along the other side of the placket, or the part where I would put the buttons. And now that I've added the glue down both sides, I'm trimming off the excess, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some of the same little trim around the Peter Pan collar. I really think that's going to bring it out and give it a lot of detail. You know, it's a very soft fabric, it's kind of a vintage print, but I think this kind of almost a vintage shade of blue really makes it stand out. It's not too bright. I think it really complements the fabric, which is exactly what I wanted. Now you can see in this frame how I added a little bit of the glue around the back to go around the back of the collar and just lined the lace up right along that bead of glue and brought it around the front. Now, when I got to the front, I really needed to make it curve, so I started by adding a little bead of the white glue right along where I wanted it to lay. And then I trimmed it with just enough to turn up to lay next to that other piece. And here I am adding the little bead of glue. So after I trimmed off the excess, I took my precision tweezers and pulled the lace in the direction I wanted to go and laid it right in place. And just like that, the little tiny shirt is all ready for buttons. So if you're wondering what that little scatter of mess is on my desktop, those are buttons. Some of them are tiny little beads, and others are little pieces of nail art studs. And there are actually some clay buttons among the mess as well. But I'm using a few of the gold nail art studs to be the buttons for this little top. I think these little gold nail art studs are perfect as buttons for this little blouse. So let me set this aside to dry and show you what else I did. So the little dress form actually came with its own finial, and I thought it was too small, so in order to combat that, I made one that was way out of scale, using a bead cap, a bead, and a couple spacers. But when I realized my original design was too tall, I removed one of the spacers, and I used a dress pin with the ball on top to be the pinnacle. And that design looked a lot more in scale and in proportion to my project. Now, although I love the gold color of the beads, the little pin was not matching, so I needed to bring everything together. So I used some of my gold tester's paint to make all of the components one shade. Now you have to be careful with this because testers generally takes a long time to dry, but due to the fact that I'm only applying a very thin coat, I wasn't concerned about drying time. So now that I've completed the upgrade on the actual dress form itself, so let's go ahead and dress the dress form. So I want to make sort of like a corset or maybe like a camisole type top. I want it to look really sweet and dainty. I'm using one of my favorite fabric prints, this really tiny floral, and I cut it in a shape that's very similar to how I created my corsets. And I will leave a link in the description for when I did that project. But I had to do it a little bit differently because I'm actually wrapping this around the actual form. When I made my corsets, I made them kind of flat, but so I have to actually create darts and shaping so that it'll actually conform to the shape of the dress form. So there's absolutely no sewing involved in this project, but you can see where I've created little darts below where the cups would be in the camisole, and again, that's just glue. And I put the glue in and folded it and allowed it to dry solid. And this is the same type of process that I use when I'm actually creating clothes for my dolls. And again, I will leave links in the description to those videos as well. Now in this frame, you can see I'm adding a little glue to the edge of the corset where I'm creating actually a seam to close it up on the sides. And this is the back piece. So I'm just creating a really, really nice, really thin, shallow seam because I want it to be flat. I don't want it to be bulky. So when I close up the sides of the camisole, it'll look as though the piece is all sewn together as one unit. And make sure you create that folded seams on both sides of the back piece. And once you've prepared and created the front piece and the back piece, go ahead and apply a little bit of glue to the front. I like to add the front part first and then adjust it and close everything off with the back. Now you see me here adding the front of the bodice to the dress form, just smoothing it into the glue that I've applied already. Now don't use a lot of glue because you don't want it to bleed through or look messy. Now squeeze it down on the side so everything will lay flat because you're going to come back over it and lay the back piece on top of it. Now you can see I've turned it and I'm kind of pinching the part around the top of the bodice where the top of the breast would be. I'm kind of just adding a little bit of glue in there so I can pinch little tidy pleats. Now they're not going to be actual sewn pleats, but if you pinch it where the glue is there, it'll look as though it's gathered. And if you look really closely, you can kind of see how I'm pinching it after I added the glue. And I'm adding a little bit more glue here with my pointed tool and just pressing those pleats right in over where the arm would be. And doing little things like that give it a really nice, neat fit. Now here I am preparing to fit it on the back, and you see I created darts down at the waist part of the seam by just adding glue with my pointed tool and then pinching the part that I wanted to make look darted. Now in this next frame, you're going to just see me do a really, really quick dry fit, try fit to see if it fits on both sides where I'm closing it up where I created the seam, and I'm wrapping it all the way around to the other side to see if it matches. Now I'm adding a little bit of glue so I can lay everything in place and close up the little camisole. I'm carefully laying it on one side just to line up that seam I created, wrapping it around the back, and laying it right into the glue that I've already applied. Now if you need additional glue, apply it very sparingly to the area and then press it in. Now after you're satisfied with the body of your corset or camisole, it's time to go ahead and add some straps. And when I say straps, I'm simply referring to either a small piece of lace or a tiny piece of satin ribbon. And you want to add it exactly where you think the shoulder would be on the dress form. Now you can use lace, again, you can use satin ribbon. You could, even if you had like a really, really pretty braiding, that would be lovely as well. Now you can see here in this area, I'm using some really small trim, and you can finish it as you like. You can add other ribbons or bows or flowers, whatever suits your fancy or not. Just make sure that when you're done, you've created something you're really happy with. So Whitney, if you're watching, let me know if you think that I succeeded in making something that was possibly what some may have considered trash into a treasure. And dolls, let me know in the comments what you think. Oh, dolls, I almost forgot to show you what I did with the rest of the epoxy. I made a scrappy little pair of boots. Now, they're not perfect, but I think they look really cute under a bed or next to the back door in the kitchen. Now, if you enjoyed this video today and want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. And always look for me on Mondays after 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I sure have enjoyed creating this video for you, dolls. And until next time, I'm looking forward to seeing you right here on Little Gretchen's Workshop. Bye-bye now, dolls.